Hello. Um, um, Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here on the Saturday. And I just also want to say that like I joined a lot of birthday last night, so I'm going to a little bit slow today as well. Okay. My name is Lomorpich, or you can call me Yuki. Most people know me by the name of Yuki. And actually, Yuki means snow in Japanese. So I learned Japanese for a month, and it was the first thing that I want to see when I was young, that to see the snow and to be someone else, right? I was born in a very beautiful family until the age of like when I was in high school. I got abandoned by my parents, and story goes on. And that is where like when I was young, I didn't know what I want to do, to want to be in the as a like in the future. I dreamed to be a singer until I saw Bong Laura singing. I was like, no, not me. And my sister also the singer, and I want to be a fashion like model, like on the runway. And it's like, not me. And surprisingly, I appeared in one of the MV when I was young, and I was on the set of the MV shooting. And that's where I finally found that the in front of camera is not for me. And yes, so as a media student, I supposed to be a journalist, writing report and everything. And then on the year 4 is where I got to do like my thesis to tell my story. And I choose the topic Spy Tom, the shadow puppet performance. So I'm not sure how many of you here have ever seen the shadow puppet. Okay, in Khmer we call the count Spy Tom. So that is where I discover who truly I want to be as me. And I remember like when I was young, I growing up like watching media a lot. The in Khmer we call Tutuk Sai Kap, the cable TV, where you can access to different channel. And I remember I watched like Net Geography, I watched MTV, I watched Grammy Award, which is not something that we don't really see in our own media, right? We um, this is the picture. If we, what do you see from this picture? Have you ever witnessed something like this in our current time? I think I was lucky enough because my neighborhood was close to Sagada, the Sagada, the central market, which is like just 5 minute walk to the riverside, close to the Royal Palace, close to museum. And I remember every year on the water festival, there is like a corner where I can just like run and like see the firework during Bon Omtuk, the water festival. And those neighborhood was like the neighborhood where you can access to different cinema, to music hall, to art exhibition. And lucky enough, when I was like 10 to 12 years old, the cinema, like Lodge Cinema, was still open as a standing alone cinema in Cambodia. Have you ever been in the Lodge Cinema before? Yes, good. But sadly, the movie that I went to in the Lodge Cinema at the time was the Indian movie, like a Bollywood kind of movie. It's not Cambodian movie. Until I remember there was a film called near Nignat, Continue. Those eras coming is where like, oh, this picture talked to me because I only see this kind of picture in the internet, or maybe from the book, or maybe from the magazine, that we recall our past. We recall our golden era. We recall that, oh, we had our legendary singer Sang Simut, Pan Rong, Rustaresatir. We had our king father was also the director, art lover, singer himself. And this picture is our current king at his young age as the actor in one of the movie. So when I was young, but when I was young, but when I was like in high school, I look at this picture. It doesn't say anything to me until I entering my 20. I look at this picture again. I was like, we can create that picture. We can create our story. of course, we love to talk about our past. We can talk about 1,000 years back ago about our great Khmer Empire, Put Nhẹ Chùm Bắn, Nhẹ Sang Ko, right? The we make them call all of those glorious kind of story. We can talk about that. We can keep saying about yes, we do have our own original music during the golden era. We can still keep talking about it, but it's still in the clause of saying it was the past. So what is our current story now? What is your story? What is our generation's story? We can skip saying that my mom generation was the generation that fall into the Khmer roof. Her childhood was stolen during the war. She's growing up. She loved music. She loved art. She also loved media. My grandmother wanted to be the dancer. But then the war happened. Everything was stolen from us. Picture, sound, story. And from there, we just tend to skip it like, oh, I don't want to talk about Khmer Roof. It's blah, blah, blah. Old people was traumatized to pass down the story. We as young people like, it's too old story. And the Gen Z really like, no, we're going to K-pop kind of thing. Or maybe like K-movie, like K-pop, K-TV, K-drama, yes, sorry. Or types of drama that we normally see on the TV, right? So we can choose angle. We can like go back and forth like a record player, which song that we want to hear or want to play. Yes. But the main point of today that I want to make a point is as being a storyteller in your own term. It doesn't mean that you have to be, position yourself in like government sector to be a leader or to be like a artist to be able to sing or maybe to paint or whatsoever. You actually can be your own storyteller in your own term, in your family, in your community, and so was Cambodia. This picture was taken back in 2017. It was the 4th years of Bon Pum, the village festival that we found as a group of young teenagers when I was 21. 2014, the village festival, which is the idea of, you know, let's just make one evening happen so that everyone can see the account, can see the performance art. And this picture was taken and you saw like the giant star, you saw the one like those are the teenager, are all the volunteer in the program we call Lele Bon Pum. And I was 21, very young, now 10 years, now I'm already 31. And Bon Pum hit 10-year anniversary this year. I never know, we never know as a team, Plunko, Bon Pum crew, we never ever imagined that we would come this far. And today we have like our Lele Bon Pum here. Thank you so much for joining us. We never ever imagined that a very simple idea to actually gather youth, people, Cambodian people, to watch our own performance art could be a change maker, could be a story telling that I keep saying for almost 10 years. Why I'm saying that story is never ever thought of, because it was just the idea like I make a documentary called Sabai Tom, The Shadow of the Shadow, and I want to capture like the real authentic way of shadow performance. And if you watch the shadow performance, you watch with the electricity light, right? The lamp, right? Have any one of you have watched the shadow performance with the real fire? Great, because you went to Bon Pum. And any one of you have been ever to the Bon Pum, the festival? Thank you, Chut Chut. Yes. So At the time, I want to capture like the real performance of shadow performance, the real fire. But then there's no place in Cambodia would in Phnom Penh would offer that until I got to meet one master called Kosal, Man Kosal. He found the shadow performance Savannapum at association, and he told us that of course we can do that only if it's celebrate in a scared, holy, and a proper way because, you know, Cambodian performance art cannot just showing for the sake of showing. And it's like, so what can we do? Is that the venue has to be in the, like a public space or maybe in the center of the village or maybe in the pagoda. And that's where my memories start to hit like, oh, pagoda. I remember that every vacation in America, maybe people say every summer, but we don't have summer. We have like our vacation vakong. So in my vakong, my vacation, I went to spend time with my grandmother in Kampong Chhnang, and that's where she took me to see the performance art Lakhaun Basak, Lakhaun Yike, you know, Cambodian type of soap opera, and to see like the type of like Bon Pum song kind of thing that people just go dance with like the box and then they make the beat out of it. Those are memory that I remember, and it was happening in the pagoda. And then the pagoda where when I read the book, I remember that throughout Khmer Rouge time, our language, even like under the colony, like French colony, our language was kept under the monk in the pagoda. So pagoda play a very important role to keep the tradition, art, and culture alive at some point. And that's hit me. And then we got to talk as a team that how about because we don't have money, we didn't have money to do that kind of event. It's you know we I was like like 20, 21. You know what can you expect from 21 years old who actually like study from like got a scholarship from CAS. Thank you CAS for sponsor our scholarship at DMC. Thank you so much. So the scholarship kit and then it was like, okay, then we go to Pagoda because uh, don't one is a memory. Second, we don't have to pay money. We don't use money in the monk system. Uh, and then we got to like tell story this kind of story that we want just to gather youth to watch the volcano. And the people around us start giving us money so that we can collect that money paying to the artists. And that's where Bon Pum start to happen. It's just the idea of gathering to watch the performance art, and it starts from 1 day to 2 day and to 3 day, from first year to the 10th year, and then along the way we found the same soul people we call Lele Bon Pum who actually want to tell the same story because the core idea of Bon Pum, the Valak Festival, is actually you come and you share your story. What was your memory, and what art thing that you want to recreate during the festival. From my case, I remember my memory with my grandmother that I would sit down, watch the count, listen to the music, and watch some small film and have a joke with, the elder, and then play traditional game with my neighbor, with my, my gang in the neighbor. Those are my memory. And looking now in Cambodian entertainment, in my case, I would like to touch on like art and culture sector, using festival as a platform to actually gather. Because what I believe in the power of gather is when Khmer are trueគ្នា, when Cambodian don't argue it. I remember on our second year of Bon Pum, there was one uncle came to us, Lục Pú. He came to us and allowed me to speak in Khmer. គាត់និយាយថាអូនអានេះកម្មវិធីបុណ្យភូមិខ្ញុំថា yes អូពូអត់ដែរឃើញអញ្ចឹងទេតាំងពីបាយសង្គ្រាមមកខ្ញុំថាមិនទៅពូខ្មែរយើងជុំគ្នាហើយអត់វាយគ្នាហើយអត់ស្លាប់គ្នា so let me introduce it translate it in English. He came to me and said that is this the Bon Pum thing, because after the war I never seen anything like this when a lot of Cambodian people, especially young people, together and we don't fight each other. Instead, we celebrate music. Instead, we celebrate culture. At that year, I was so young and dumb, didn't understand what does it mean until this year when we came to the struggle part of building the become like a Bonpum to become like a sustainable festival, and we are like, oh, we need youth power, we need story, we need people to believe in this story that we can tell a different story in a contemporary setting. If you look at my costume, my not costume, I'm sorry, it's a Halloween season, so we say costume. If you look at how I dress today, it's all in black with chroma, the scarf on my neck. And considering the black color is already a bad luck color in Cambodian belief, in Cambodian system. Actually, it happened not before Khmer Rouge, if after Khmer Rouge, because it's the image that people remember from those dark time, especially with the scarf on the neck. It's symbolic someone who actually gonna harm you. So that was the story at that time. So what is our story now? What is the what is the direction? What is the thing that you want to tell in this contemporary setting where we have internet, where we have social media, where every one of us has the ability to access to the internet and press and send the button out of just like a second. So what is your story? So when I'm saying story again and again, it's not necessarily mean that you have to be someone to be like a writer or professional, you know, employee or worker at like one NGO who doing this thing to help Cambodia. But you, me as a youth, what can we say about our country? And when we are saying about our country, that is the bigger land that we're looking at. But again, when you use the zoom lens to ourselves, who are you? Are we forgotten ourselves as well as Khmer? What subject are you studying now, and what do you want to do? It's actually a very simple question, but sometimes we kind of forget to ask, and we are afraid to answer. So in my case, I tend to be young, dumb enough to actually, yes, I want to be a singer. I want to be a fashion designer. I want to be a interior designer, all those kind of stuff, right? And until I got to join Bonpum to study media, and you know, from time to time, it's like, okay, we do have a power that we don't actually see, the invincible power chain. And I know every one of you right now has a goal, or maybe don't, and it's okay. But the thing is, it depends on how you're looking at it in a bigger lens or a zoomer lens. That in a personal level, who are you? Who are you? Who we want to be? What are you want to do? I really like one of the words from Bong Sotivi today about shaping how we say things, that throwing the rubbish. Instead, we saying and taking care of the rubbish like tục đã. So again, if we keep saying that, oh, in order to change Cambodia, we have to be this, we have to be that, we have to be like in the government segment, or we have to wait for government, or maybe we have to wait for a foreign fund to come and help us. Yes, perhaps. But don't forget that we actually have our own power to actually write it down that, okay, I want to be this in the next 5 years. And then it's okay. If the next 5 years is your goal will change to be something else, that's fine. You still have your 20 to explore. In Khmer, we say, in Khmer, in my word, I say, អាយុ20 កុំភ័យពេក ចាំអាយុ30 ចំកាត់ That's my word. But maybe it's different from you. So that is my story in my 20. I explore, right? So, and in the exploration kind of way, it doesn't mean that you have to think about Cambodian like a Cambodian first. But because like right now, what I see with the young people in the internet, mostly it's like very two nationalism in the way that, oh, this is not Khmer. Oh, like just like what Bong Laura said about like the collaboration between Khmer and Vietnam. Oh, this is like oh, Thai, you know, those kind of thing. That's okay, but why? Have you ever answer or dare to question like why, right? So what is our story now in this era? Are we still like want to looking back at this picture and keep reminding ourselves that we had our golden era and that's it? Or we want to be like this young man, being a part of the history, making the festival happen, and telling the story that it's just the youth, a group of youth who actually make something change, something happen, and it doesn't have to wait for any help from the government or any help from the private sector. It's just we gather, and along the way, people come and support us because they believe in the story that we are making change. And again, contemporary setting. When we say the word contemporary, it's like the new thing, relevant. I mean, like future whatsoever. But for me, what I see is that every day is a every day is a gift, and tomorrow is always contemporary for me. And mean for me, like the setting right now is very yeah. I mean, like we are like was born in like a unique time where we were able to connect the analog world to the digital world, and we have the power to express, to being yourself, and to actually explore a lot of things. Before, like, in order to ask question that can I go on a date or whatsoever, you are told to on the date, you are told to stay in the house. But now you have rights to actually explore, talk to your parents, explore the thing. Because why? Because the social media give you the idea to the parent, to the elder, like exactly what it is. Like my time when I first got my tattoo, my mom's like, "What is that?" But now she's like it. She's like, "Oh, the new tattoo is cool." Because why? Because he saw like the famous singer here has tattoo and all of that, and then it's like that's the picture. That's the picture that we want to build from the time that we got lost. The missing picture, the missing sound, the missing story of our time. We have to build it, and we have to build it. It's not in the sense that I still want to repeat the same word that it doesn't necessarily that you have to be someone in the changing in the position to make change, but us as yourself, but buying just taking care of your rabbits is already a story of you today. So what is your story of your story today, tomorrow, in the next 5 years? So then later on in the line, you will see the story that you will take along with Cambodia. So don't have to stress yourself that you want to change the world. But before you change the world, have you made your bed ready before you wake up yet? Right? So before thinking about Cambodia, thinking about ourselves first. What do you want to do and what is your story? If you don't know your story, start practice it at what? By doing step by step, here and there, one, two, three. Along the way, the dot will connect and you will become who you want to be. I want to share you one of the good news that I never dreamed to be like a storyteller or a filmmaker. I always want to give up my film career because I thought that it's not for me until I debuted my first feature film talking about young love, about love between generation and love with the music in the cinema. And today and next year, I will be pitching my second project called Room Dua. And again, in our context, in this generation, we say the word Room Dua. So just for the our foreign friends, Room Dua is a national flower of Cambodia. in our current generation, we call rumdua is the like almost like a shady word, like oh I'm dua lah, sok rumdua, like kind of like disappointed, right? But during the Sangsimut time, our golden era, when we say rumdua, it mean a beautiful person, like rumdua batambong, rumdua kompot, rumdua Siem Reap. See? So those are the different story that they are talking. So in my story, I will tell the story of Rumdul, which is the story of my mother and me, a broken family, and find to love each other again. And I will debut the project pitch and at Cannes Film Festival next year.